I had a lot of questioning what I would do next. And one day I got a call from a guy I worked with on a project, and he told me, you know what, there is this guy called Charles Sirois, who is currently developing a new project for a new wireless network in Canada, and he has this vision of one day people will get born, with a phone number, and they will keep that phone number for the rest of their life until they die.
Yeah, we're here today.
And that was, at that time, it was kind of a crazy idea. Nobody, could imagine that this would become the world we're in. And I was inspired by that, because for me, that was the ultimate chase for knowledge.
Right.
It was using your knowledge to transform the world. And I decided to join the group. And there were a lot of very knowledgeable people who decided the same thing. And this is why I ended up, in this wireless business.
Yeah. And one thing I want to point out to folks is what was interesting about Fido Mobile, which was in its era, I think in the 90s, the disruptor of the cellular or telecom industry in Canada was. Before that, there was a concept of a landline, plus you have cell phones. But I think Fido really kind of like pushed towards you don't really need a landline. Just that whole concept around that.
Yeah, it was done in different phases. But the first phase was that in 1996, as you mentioned, very few people had a wireless phone in Canada. I think the penetration rate at that time was less than 6%.
That's crazy.
It was what we call the analog wireless phones at that time. It was kind of a brick of nearly 5 pounds, that you had to bring with you. And the price was extremely high as well. It was a product that people were using only for business purposes and stuff like that. It was explained as a technology, kind of a mysterious thing that only wise people could have access to.
Or the rich, basically.
And then when Fido arrived, well, I would say first it was microcell company, and we needed to find a brand for our service. And we had that vision internally that if we were to implement that vision that one day everybody will have their phone number, it has to become a friendly device. It has to be seen as something that is not technology, but useful in your life. And then we said, okay, what kind of a brand we could give to that service to change the mindset that this is a technological device that nobody understands. And we said, geez, it has to be seen as a friendly service. And what else than Fido? Fido is the friendliest, dog you can have. It follows you everywhere. It brings a lot of emotion to your daily lives. And we said, geez, it will follow you in your pocket for the rest of your life. And we said, geez, in addition, the awareness of such a brand name was such that instantly we became one of the most known brand in the country. Right after the launch. And we need to recall as well that when we launched in 1996, we were the first 2G wireless network in North America.
Oh, wow, North America.
In North America, even before OmniPoint in New York, which became Verizon. And this is an important aspect. November 30th, 1996, when we launched, we became, by default, the first company launching text messaging in North America.
Wow.
And at that time, we knew it would be something that would make a difference. But we have not imagined how big it would become. And we can see today what was the impact of text messaging.
And I think that's true for many technologies, right? It's always the, simple and non-obvious technology trends where, it's so simple that it doesn't seem that it's going to be that big. And people, investors definitely way underestimate. and founders and visionaries tend to overestimate. And so there's always this fine line.
Exactly. It took many years as well before it became very popular.
Yeah.
But we were true believers that this was only the first step towards something much bigger. Instant messaging came after that, and now you have all these apps today, which are something that you cannot avoid anymore. And for teenagers of today, without that, I think they would lose half their world, which is kind of what I call a virtual world that they have. So that was really the first step. Then we went through a first phase of growth, humongous growth, and we had a challenge in the early 2000s when the bubble exploded, and
that's the dot-com bubble, right?
Yeah, the dot-com bubbles, and we ran out of cash because we had so much growth that we could not finance the growth. So we needed to restructure financially. At that time, I was, the vice president finance of Microcell, and because they had brought me, from the marketing team to the finance team at one point in the early years after the launch, because they needed to put, a marketing twist to the financial plan so we could convince investor to finance the company. We were looking for $2 billion of financing at that time. So that's where, my finance and marketing background became very useful, because I was capable to talk the marketing language to financial people, and I was able to talk the financial language to marketing people. So I could bridge, the two groups which are usually fighting each other within an organization.